So you cook ribs on a somewhat regular basis?
I don't cook them. I get them here.
You get them here. Ah.
I cook them in the summer in Maine.
Okay.
But let me back up. How all this started. If somebody says, I'll vote with you on this, but I think we need to change that, there has to be something that comes before that, and that's called a relationship. So about, I don't know, once every 6 weeks or so, my office will call around and we'll round up 4 or 5 senators, always bipartisan, for ribs and coleslaw and beans at the house. And so I'll call here at 5 o'clock, ask for peaches. She takes my order. She knows me now. She says, Mr. King, what do you want tonight? And I don't know if she knows I'm a senator or not. She might. But
we'll
then
after today.
Okay. Well, yeah. And so I take the food down, and it's, as I say, it's always bipartisan. People have said, well, who have you had? I think we've had over 50 senators, and they range from Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer to John Cornyn and Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham and Bob Corker. I can't claim that it's changing the Senate, but I've seen, it helps. When I need to go and talk to Lindsey Graham or John McCain or somebody, there's a little bit more in the background. One of the stories from one of our dinners was Ted Cruz was there. And people think of him as this ultra serious, very conservative guy, hard driving. And we were having dinner, and then he looked at his watch and said, Angus, you mind if I go up and make a phone call? And I said, no. He went upstairs. So he went up, made a call, came down. Turns out, wherever he is, every night at 8 o'clock he calls his kids. That's a nice thing. And it's not what you see, when you see Ted Cruz. Yeah, the sauce is the whole deal.
The sauce is the whole deal. So I have to ask if you have a preference in terms of how you judge your sauces.
I like the Memphis and Kenny's mild. I don't want the sauce to overpower the pork. I'm having a pulled pork sandwich, which is a midday. Ribs are a little heavy for middle of for lunch.
Right.
But our dinners are always ribs, and I do smoke my own ribs up in Maine. And the key to good smoked ribs is the rub. So I actually once took a barbecue course.
Oh.
A buddy and I went and spent a day learning about how to wrap up a chicken and what kind of rubs to use on the ribs. But it's funny, growing up, I never had ribs before. So at some point in my adult life, I discovered this great American delicacy. For the record, I don't think this is the rib joint from House of Cards.
No. I think it's kind of a funny phenomenon that two people who are from New England end up in a barbecue joint when I half expected we would be talking about lobsters right about now.
We certainly do. I don't know, did you hear about my campaign on the lobster emoji?
Yes.
Lobsters, it's really Maine's iconic product. And it's not only an icon, it's it's $500 million industry in Maine. And for some reason, the emojis, they've got all kinds of animals, even crabs.
Yes.
Even crabs, but they don't have a lobster. So I wrote the Unicode Consortium, which is whoever they are that control the creation of emojis, and said we need a lobster emoji. I posted it on my Instagram account. The likes went off the chart. Everybody loved the idea, and it's fun. This was a 10-minute project. It's not like I'm sitting around working on emojis. I don't want to give that impression.
Right.
But it's a way of adding some value to an important Maine industry. Are you guys going to edit this at all, or is it just okay?